Hi Fox, how you doing? The 5 minute games of the deathmatch are over. Now we are playing. They are playing 3 minutes with 1 second of increment. This is chess.com blitz and bullet deathmatch between Yaacovn Norwich and GM Boris Avruch. And well, the 5 minute games were very easily won by GM Boris Avruch. I'm not really remembering the score right now, but it was like 3-2 or something, easily won by the GM. So now we are on the 3 minutes time section. White played really kind of a cold opening or something, like d4, knight f3, e3, b3, something like that. Not a usual setup for white. Not, I think, normally considered not to be the strongest or not to be the most ambitious, etc. But it is just a game, just a position. Yaacov put a knight here on d4, looking good. Bishop g4 is exchanged. Now I guess knight d2 or knight c3. He has some space. White has some space on the queen side. Now queen d6 with the obvious threat of checkmate. G3. I don't know, maybe black could get greedy with h5 and h4, but well, I think this is fairly balanced game. Rook to e8, protecting the e5 pawn. Rook a d1, queen c5, and black shouldn't have much problems, I think. Could have the idea to bring back his knight to e5 and even try to go to e3, d3, sorry. And knight e2, knight f4, probably the idea. And also this is protecting the pawn on c4 with the queen, which was under attack. And now what? Knight e5, as I said, trying to go to d3, also attacks c4. And I think black got the initiative here. There is a clear attack on c4, and if rook c1, which could seem the natural way to defend it. Rook knight d3 attacks both the bishop and the rook, and I don't know, that looks cool. That looks, well, that's what they play. Rook c1, knight d3, knight b3, sacrificing the exchange. Well, first attacking the queen, now he must, I guess, move the rook, otherwise this would be an exchange sack. Now the queen on f, okay, bishop takes on f6 first. Interesting. Time to calculate. Knight takes. If bishop takes, black would have taken with a check. And so f6 was taken. Knight f4, queen f5. Black won the exchange finally, and surely we'll be looking forward to try to win this game. Knight d5. Okay, that knight looks good. Was attacking c7 to try to fork both rooks. Now bishop f6 is protecting that, and white should try to be active here because he has the material disadvantage. Knight c5 attacks b7 and c6. Sorry. Knight b6. White knights jumping around. Rook d8 and knight takes b7. Okay. Not sure if Avruch missed that. I don't think so. Bishop rook to d3 and white takes on c6 as well. Now this is interesting. Queen e6 attacks c6. It cannot be pushed forward as b6 would be hanging. Black centralizes, white does it. So knight d5, queen takes, knight takes a5. Well, Yaacov took a couple of pawns to compensate him being down the exchange. Now knight b3, rook d8. Oh, mother. God, he missed this check, taking the queen. That's not something you see very commonly. a GM blundering a simple check and losing the queen with a fork. That's more common of players like me. But okay, we have another Queen's Indian here. Now our rook is white, Yaacovn is black. Well, this is not the Queen's Indian, maybe more of a Pogo Indian, I think. And now d6, black exchanged his bishop on d2 and plays d6 c5, a typical plan in these Nimzo positions. Try to blockade the position. c6, this is very positional, very in the Nimzovich styles, with squares here and there. b6. Okay, once again white has space advantage in the center, and well, slightly better position most probably. Now rook c7 was a threat to get into the 7th rank pin here, but knight a6 protects c7. Knight c5 is very logical here, yes. Knight takes, b takes, and b4. Okay. White is trying to make this d6 a weak pawn. He gets it. He gets the open file. And now d6 is a weak pawn for black. Okay, bishop b5, rook e1. Still, this is not very bad probably for black, but better for white for sure. This knight must be relocated. Now white must find a plan how to try to maybe double up rooks or get in with the knight, or maybe even try to exchange this bishop for the one on b5. Knight a5 c6, could it be the idea? Yes, it seems so. Right now I'm feeling really happy. This is the second move I guessed by this GM. Knight c6. Obviously kidding. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. That will be a passed pawn. On the other hand, if you don't do that, where are you going to put the rook? On c8 you cannot, because knight e7 check. So Yaacov gives up the exchange. Well, he's attacking f2, not giving up the exchange so easily, but attacking f2 first, rook c2 defense. Now he takes on c6, pawn takes, that's a passed pawn for white. Queen c7 blockading the pawn. Now rook d1. Remember, this d6 pawn was a weak pawn, and now it is much weaker because this is an open file for white. Rook b8 to d8, and bishop gets activated. It wants to go where? c4, b5, maybe even a6 to b7. White on the driver's seat, of course. First protects e4. Yaacovn trying desperately to get some compensation, some counterplay on the king side. h4, king g2, takes, and rook b8. I don't know, maybe bishop a6, b7, but I'm not sure if that's getting too much. Bishop to c4. Okay, g6. Maybe king g7, rook h8. But I don't think there is much to be done there. The bishop gets relocated to b3. King g2 and rook c2 d2. Attacking d7, d6, exchanging it for c6. Now some massive exchange, I guess. And the better endgame for white. Although his passed pawn is gone, black's backward weak pawn is gone, and the only thing for white here is he has slightly more space, more active pieces somehow. Bishop against knight, the Fischer endgame. Okay, somehow better for white, but should be more or less holdable, I guess. Now queen d8, but Rook d7, exchange it everything. Okay, we have the Fischer endgame, bishop against knight. Oops, I just noticed I can put colors on the screen, on the squares, clicking with the right button of the mouse. Cool. Okay, g4, king f6, take, and this should be a draw, I guess. I don't know, I'm so bad at endgames, basic endgames. This king looks more active, as this pawn could be easily defended with, well, I mean, it is in fact defended with the bishop, so maybe white has a shot here coming in with this king. I don't know. Certainly looks drawish. I mean, equal material, knight against bishop, but very few pawns remaining. But okay, knight e6 to d4 to attack this pawn. But okay, after this, this should be draw. This pawn endgame. Whenever black goes for this, white takes this, so this won't happen. This is a matter of 10 piece. Black, oh, is black losing? King here, now, yes, black is losing. I think, no. This is basic endgames, you know. People around should know this. Me, of course, and this, yeah, it seems this is a draw. You can bet these players know their endgames. And yes, they agreed to a draw. And they start the next game very fastly. Good for them. Oh, we got a Trompowsky here by Yaacovn. Bishop f4, d5, c5, c3. I think this is very theoretical. Interesting opening by white. Bishop d3. Now this is kind of a London attack scheme. h3, bishop back, queen a4. Okay. Most probably this is very theoretical, as they are blitzing their moves. Rook e1. Well, the moves are quite logical, I guess. Just developing. The bishop goes back. White will try to play for e4 anytime, but black is happy. He has c5 here already in the center, attacking white's pawn structure in here. Now he wants to play b5, having lots of space on the queen side. The queen goes back, self-pinning herself in this case. And a4 to stop b5. And what is black doing here? I guess at some point e5 could be an idea. No, f5, he puts a grip on e4 and makes this kind of a stonewall position for black, grabbing space all here all on the king side as well. Bishop back, as it is not doing anything more anymore here on this diagonal. So bishop back, knight f6 looks good for black. I don't know, I'm liking black. Seems, I mean, black has more space, well placed pieces, not particular weaknesses. I mean, e6 is a weakness, but I don't think that's very important here so far. Knight to e4, f3 change, and bishop d6. Another pair of knights are exchanged here on c6. Rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and okay. White will try maybe to take on c5 and play e4, take advantage of this pin. Yes, he goes for e4 first. Okay, interesting position. Both players fighting constantly for the center here. C takes d, queen takes, I guess, yes. Now e5 is not possible, d5 would be hanging, so white is threatening to win a pawn on d5. And if rook d8, no, he takes first on e4, f takes, queen g3, looking the activity, leaving that pawn and arguing that if white takes here on d5, f2 would be an entry point for him with the queen and the rook here. Although this is white is entering here with check, so this is basically winning a pawn for white. But black has some compensation, as he has some activity here. Now rook f1, and okay, Yaacov doing well so far in this 3 minutes time section. Won a game, drew another, and is up a pawn in this game with a comfortable position, being up on the clock as well, which is something to be taken into account in these games, in these blitz games. Now Boris Avruch rook e8, but his other rook seems a little bit not very coordinated. I mean, not very well coordinated. Can be moved either to e6, probably to e6 in the next move. But okay, a pawn is a pawn, and I don't know. Matter of technique once again, I guess. White has a 3 against 2 in this queen side, and of course, the more pieces exchanged here, more favorable would be this for white, I guess. Although rook end games could be with 3 against 2 here are very drawish, I think. Even if white gets a passed pawn here, you got some famous basic end games in which that's a draw. But now queen f7. Well, white will try to go for take advantage of this rook not being very actively placed to try to go now rook d7 or something, try to be active on d7. No, he goes back to b3, and rook to e6 as I predicted, taking the full control of the e file. Okay, Yaacov is up a pawn, but black should be more or less holding this, I think. Rook e2 attacks is a good move, attacks b2, takes control of the second file. Now if b4 something, queen g5, yes, is the idea. Rook f7 is what white played earlier. Now g2 sorry, is under fire, so white must go back with his rook to g1, I guess. Is there any other move? Queen d5 maybe, but not sure if that's very good because check, check, check. Yeah, well, queen d5, that's what he plays. Is there a check here? Takes, queen, king h2. No, that's not dangerous, I guess. Well, still black fighting to have compensation for his pawn. White is up a pawn, of course, and queen g3. Okay, now he's threatening rook e1 checkmate, of course. So rook must probably go back to f1, or this rook, yeah, the one on f7 went back to f1, but now black takes on b2. That's the advantage of having a rook on the second rank. Queens are exchanged. Material is equal. Yaacov goes into the 7th rank. Okay, this is tricky. 18 seconds, just under 20 seconds for Yaacov, 25 for GM Boris Avruch. Now, I guess this rook will go some. Okay, he protects a6. This should be draw. I mean, material is equal, but time is a key here. And well, black got his king here, almost self-trapped. So, okay. Now they're almost playing on time. Black gives up his pawn on a6, but it's freeing his. Now this is draw. I mean, white is up a pawn, but this should be draw. White won a pawn, but black is holding here. Well, I don't know. Maybe white has some chances. I'm not sure. If black keeps controlling here, I mean, check, the white king cannot go up. Now this should be draw. Yes. Now back, and He's just controlling. Black is controlling white king this way in the file, so this should be harmless for black, and this game should end in a draw. Well, of course, exchanging rooks wouldn't do black much a favor, but this should be easily held by GM Aruch, playing black pieces in this death match against Yaacovn, and we'll take a little rest after this game. Let us see if the game finishes soon. Well, it should be. I mean, white just can move around for whatever time he wants because he has plenty of time. It's for black to prove his correct defense, but this is drawish. This must be draw. Still, Yaacov keeps pushing, testing GM Boris Aruch's defensive skills. Now, yeah, rook e5, cutting this king should be enough. Of course, not exchange rooks. Well, white made some achievement. He's getting very active with his king, and this actually may be, well, I don't know, maybe still drawn, but now looks much better for white at least. But of course, black always is threatening this g4 pawn. There is no checkmate, it seems. Okay, that's checkmate threat. Oh, now maybe he can push the pawn. No, he protects it. Very tricky endgame. White putting black against lots of pressure, testing his skills, and well, so far GM Aruch has been defending very well, very accurately, but really very tricky with few seconds on the clock. I mean, Boris is the one who has less time on the clock, just 1.5. They get 1 second for each move, but still this is very difficult. Yaacov has 15 seconds. They keep playing. Already 121 moves have been played. Amazing, but this is chess. This is live chess blitz. This is how it comes. Clearly, white playing on time. I mean, he's up a pawn, but now check. Oops, is okay now. Is black losing? Yes, black lost on time. Wow. Thanks for watching.